everybody, this is Jennifer and Obi, or Obi-Wan Cat Nobi, if you happen to follow him on Instagram. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the pros and cons of owning an exotic shorthair, which is what Obi is. So I'll tell you a little bit about why we decided to pick this breed and some of the challenges that we've experienced, even in just the short couple of months that we've owned Obi. So he is 4 months old, so we're still getting to know him, but there's definitely some characteristics and some breed traits that we were anticipating when we got him, and he definitely seems to fit the bill or the checklist when it comes to those traits, so I'll talk about some of that. So let's start first with the breed history of the exotic shorthair. Back about 50 years ago, the exotic shorthair did become an official breed for the Cat Fanciers Association. It's a combination between a Persian, which makes up the majority of its genetic makeup, and the American shorthair. And a lot of characteristics from both of those cats seem to shine through Obi. So let's start first with some of those Persian characteristics. So Persians are known to be very affectionate, they're companions, they're friendly, sweet, they want to be around you at all times. And that definitely comes through Obi. We see that a lot. He's just a very loving cat, and he wants to follow us wherever we are. He wants to sleep with us at night, and he even likes to bring his toys in and play around us or interact with us. And so that's a wonderful trait that we really enjoy, and it's really helped us to bond with Obi. On the other side, the American shorthair tends to be a little bit more wild. Some of the history of the American shorthair that I find it fascinating, they came over from Britain on ships to help with the extermination of rats. And so, as you can imagine, this is a much more frisky breed. They tend to be a little bit more independent. They're very playful. And so Obi gets a little bit of that, but not nearly as strong as if you were to get the American shorthair itself. So a nice combination between the Persian's affectionate side with a touch of playfulness is how I best describe Obi. And then thinking about the way that a Persian looks, Persians have very long hair and the flat face. The exotic shorthair tends to take the trait of the face shape. They have flat faces. Now Obi is what's considered an extreme flat face or a smush face, and that tends to be the direction that the breed is going in these days. You can also find exotic shorthairs that are called doll-faced cats. And so they have a little bit more of the protruding nose, if you imagine the profile of a doll, so just a touch more protruding than a true flat face. And I would say if you think about like the cat that's on the front of a Fancy Feast container, that is sort of the face that would come with a doll face breed. So if your breeder happens to ask you if you would prefer a flat face or a doll face cat, that might help to give you some perspective on the differences there. The doll face cats do have a little bit less of the eye stains and the respiratory issues that the flat face cat would have. But the good thing about our exotic shorthairs is that they don't carry some of the long hair and the maintenance that's required of a Persian. So that's where the American shorthair genes come in. So they have a thick double coat. It only needs to be brushed once or twice a week. We rarely bathe him, and he is considered to be a non-shedding breed. We do see the occasional hairs flying around, but all in all, it's pretty easy maintenance. And so that is something that we really like. So all in all, a wonderful cat with a great personality and fairly easy maintenance. So let's go into the cons now. So some of the cons have to do specifically with the face shape. So as I mentioned earlier, Obi has a very flat face or a smush face. He's a brachycephalic cat, and so what that means, and I reviewed this in another video, is that his eyes tend to protrude out, his nose is very short, and he also has a short jaw, or a jaw that's pushed back behind his skull. And that's what creates that look, that really cute look with the big wide eyes, but it comes with some challenges. So the eyes have a tendency to get scratched or scraped. We've already had Obi into the doctor once before because he bumped into something and he scratched his cornea, and we had to have him on some antibiotics. So that's something that we have experienced already. He also gets a lot of tear stains, which I discussed in some of our other videos. He requires morning and evening maintenance to get rid of those tear stains. He also has a tendency to become congested. And so nothing you can really do about this. I've seen some videos on nasal flushing and things of that nature, but he manages to do okay. There are some occasions where when he gets really worked up, he'll open up his mouth and pant a little bit like a dog. So that's something unique to the exotic Shorthair, and they do get hot fast for that very reason. So something to be aware of too. And then finally, talking about the mouth, that is a challenge specifically for Obi. He has a little bit of a harder time getting food into his mouth just because of the way that his mouth is shaped. And it does create a bit of a mess for me. I do keep his bowl in a totally separate room of the house where he can make a mess and then I can clean up afterwards. But if you were to keep his food bowl in the dining room or the kitchen, I can promise you you'll be stepping on food all day long. So those are some of the cons of owning an exotic Shorthair, but all in all, I would say it's a wonderful breed to consider. And if you have something that you want to add, something that you really love about the exotic Shorthair, or something that you found challenging that I didn't mention today, feel free to throw it down in the comments. And if you have any requests for future videos, let me know about those too. So thank you so much for tuning in, and have a good one.